Hi, everyone, and welcome to another AdventureWomen Deep Dive. I'm Emily, I'm the Director of Sales here at AdventureWomen, and today we're going to explore the Camino Portuguese Way, which is a trip I joined a few years ago in September. I'm excited to share what this experience was like from my perspective and offer some personal insights and tips as you're planning for your next trip. Throughout this video, I'll cover some of my favorite moments and a few things that I think made this destination so special. So what do I love about this trip? It was hard to pick just three main topics, but the first I'd like to point out is it's such a perfect first-time multi-day hiking trip. If you've never done something like this, that was my experience as well. I'd been a weekend warrior. I'd maybe done 1 or 2 days of hiking with friends, over long weekends. But I had never done something that was multiple days, let alone 6 days of walking between 8 and 15 miles. I had a few friends during this trip and had asked me to come along, and I'd not really thought about it as an option. But the more I read about it and the more I saw that it was long days of hiking, but on moderate terrain, I felt like it was something that I could train for and that I could do to see what the experience was like and if it's something I wanted to continue in future Adventure Women trips. The other thing that I really loved was the authentic cuisine. So the food in Galicia is delicious. It's a lot of seafood, it's very coastal, farm fresh, farm to table, a lot of organic fruits and vegetables. Everything is, produced right there. So great cheese, great wine. A lot of these vineyards and farms, local farms, you'll walk past as you're on your day-to-day walks. So you really feel kind of connected to the food as you're taking this journey. And then the connections you make along the way. This is a really great trip for connecting with the local communities. It's encouraged. You'll have a pilgrim pass book. It's a stamp book. And in that, you're encouraged to get a few stamps a day as part of your Camino Compostela certificate. And so you can walk into a restaurant or a shop or even these little kiosks that are set up on the side of the road. And you can really imagine kind of through these experiences what it was like to do this trip hundreds, if not thousands of years ago as a pilgrim that really leaned on the local communities for food and shelter and camaraderie along the way. And that was something that was really special about this trip that I hadn't really thought about before joining this journey. One more thing I'd like to add is about the history. So while thousands walk this today, it actually began almost 2,000 years ago as a network of Roman military roads. Following the discovery of St. James's tomb in the 9th century, these stone highways transformed into a major medieval pilgrimage trail. It became so vital that kings, queens, saints, and other religious figures walked these exact paths, building the bridges, hospital, churches, and the towns that you experience while you're traveling today. So if you're really interested in history, especially European medieval history, then this is such a great trip for you. As we discussed, this is a high energy trip. And it's a high energy trip because of the multi-day walks that are quite long. So you're going to have anywhere between 8 to 15 miles. You do need 63 plus miles to earn your Compostela, in addition to the stamps that I just mentioned. And so this is something you're going to be doing over several days. We'll get into the hiking day-to-day details and what the day-to-day experience is like, but we do consider this a high energy trip. So let's look at the route that you'll be taking. There are several Camino routes. A lot of people know about the French way that goes over the Pyrenees and connects to Santiago. This one starts in Porto. So this is considered part of the Portuguese Way. There's two routes that diverge and then come back together in Cambados. So there's a more coastal route, and then there's the route that our group takes that's a little bit more inland. That's the more historic route. So you can see this here. You'll start in Porto, and then you'll spend several days walking up to Santiago. So as I mentioned, you start in Porto, which is a beautiful little coastal town, really easy to navigate on your own. A lot of folks come in early. I did as well. It's quite vibrant and colorful. It's known for its big, beautiful bridges and its port wine. So it's a really great place to start. And if you can come in a day early, I do recommend it. It's very easy to navigate on your own. So from Porto, you're going to start with, on day 3, your first longer hike. So as you can see the mileage broken down here, and some days might be a little longer or shorter, just depending on kind of the day-to-day details, how the group's feeling, and weather. And so when you think about this, a typical day will start about 8 a.m., 8:30, have breakfast, and then you'll start on the trail. And from there, you'll walk maybe a few miles, stop for coffee, stop at a kiosk, grab a snack, talk to the locals, get a stamp for your passbook, and then you'll continue on maybe a few more miles before lunch. The lunches are on your own, which is fantastic because you can explore these small little local towns and villages on your own. The guides will give great feedback and advice on places to go for lunch. A lot of people just have kind of a light lunch as they're kind of preparing for the next stage of the walk. And then from there, you'll continue the walk, ending usually in the early afternoon. We typically have two guides on a trip that has a group of 8+, and this group usually maxes out around 14 or 15 guests. And so having two guides is really nice because it allows you to walk your own walk. And again, this is really a journey. This is going to be something that encourages you to go at your own pace. So some people might be strong hikers. They want to go a little faster. That's great. Some people like me, I tend to really kind of soak everything in. So I want to take my time, really go at a slower pace. So I tend to kind of go in the back, and I'm a bit of a slower hiker, and we can have anyone in between. So it really allows you to hike your own hike and not feel like you need to go at someone else's pace. So let's talk about what to expect while hiking. In terms of the terrain, as I mentioned, this is not something that is technical or difficult. You'll have some paved roads, you'll have some gravel paths, you'll go through some areas that are around local forest and streams. You will walk through some smaller towns, some bigger towns, and everything in between. So a lot of folks will ask about footwear, hiking poles. I found that I brought both my hiking boots and I brought tennis shoes, and I would kind of go between the two based on what the terrain was like on that day, how my feet were feeling, what the weather was going to be like. If I needed waterproof shoes, I would wear my hiking boots. And then with trekking poles, I did bring them. I found after the first few days, I didn't really need them because it was quite flat. You do have some rolling hills, some elevation gains that are not that steep. So if you do want to bring trekking poles, you certainly can. There is a vehicle that's going to accompany the group each day to bring you back to the path where you finished the previous day to start and to pick you up at the end of your walk. And so if you need to drop gear there, store trekking poles, have a layer that you take off and put in the vehicle, that's certainly you're able to do that, as you walk each day. And in terms of weather, so we choose the May and the September timeframes because it's a shoulder season, not as busy with as many hikers, and the weather is perfect. So anywhere between 60s and 70s during the day. You might see some light showers, but you don't typically have heavy rains. We had one day where we had some showers in the afternoon that we had to hike through. But outside of that, the weather was really perfect hiking weather. We'd usually start off in the morning with something like this, like zip up hoodie or something that's a little bit more kind of comfortable and long sleeve. And then throughout the day, we would probably end up in our tank top or our short sleeve. So layers are key, but you don't have to overpack. You can certainly do laundry around at different hotels throughout the trip. And we'll talk about what the hotels look like as well. So again, we mentioned the food. It's so good. It's a lot of seafood. I don't eat seafood, so I was accommodated with meats, cheeses, vegetarian meals. But if you do enjoy seafood, this is a wonderful trip. And we had a cooking class that we got to enjoy, learn how to make different local delicacies, and of course the coffee and wine. Absolutely delicious. We had a lot of really good wine throughout this journey. So where are you going to stay? A lot of people think about walking the Camino as being very austere, humble. A lot of people stay on the path in local hostels or some more budget-friendly properties. We choose what are known as paradors for our accommodation. They're usually located a little bit off the beaten path, so that's why we have the vehicle to pick you up at the end of the day and bring you back to the starting point. These are typically converted historic buildings, so think like monasteries, wineries, just old historic structures that they just have a lot of depth. So as you're staying there, again, these rooms aren't large. These are historic buildings that have been converted, but it really allows you just to connect that history through the journey as you're taking that walk day to day and then ending in these buildings that maybe some of the pilgrims had previously hundreds of years ago as they were walking this same path. And at the end of the journey, you get to Santiago. That's my group on the left. There, I'm the one kind of laid out on the ground. We're celebrating our last long walk into Santiago. That's the Church of St. James. That's where his body is. That's where he's buried. You can go to mass there. It's a really special experience, and it's so triumphant at the end of this trip to be able to say, I did it, take the picture in front of the church, and then there's my colleague Gail getting her Compostela signed and dated. All right, so if you're interested in joining us, we do have a couple departures next year. We usually have two departures each year, one in the springtime, one in the fall. Sometimes we add additional departures if we have additional demand. But these are the dates coming up. You can find them on our website at adventurewomen.com. If you have any questions, you can reach out to any of us in the office. We'd be happy to chat. Then thank you so much for joining me on this destination deep dive of the Camino Portuguese Way. I hope this gives you a better sense of what it's like to experience a trip with Adventure Women. It was such a memorable adventure for me. I still think about it. I just found my Compostela passbook. I was flipping through it, saw all the stamps. It just flooded back memories of this experience. And if you have any questions about the trip, as I mentioned, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're always happy to help, and we hope to see you on a future trip soon.